quickly retaliate after President Trump imposes tariffs on Canada, Mexico, and China. We'll tell you what it could mean for American consumers.
Also, we talk with an ex-Marine here in Orange County who has a message of encouragement for those affected by the devastation of the LA wildfires.
I can't hear it. I'm Maddie Fabricant reporting outside Disneyland to give you the latest on how disability program has affected parkgoers and what parkgoers are doing in response to the changes of the disability program. All of that, sports, news, and more coming up on Chapman News.
From Dodge College of Film and Media Arts, this is Chapman News.
Good afternoon. Welcome to Chapman News. I'm Angela Hara.
And I'm Xavier Rose. Our top of the story is out of Washington. Americans' three biggest trading partners are hitting back after President Trump's tariffs went into effect last night. China is opposing an extra 15% fee on chicken, wheat, corn, and cotton imported to the U.S. China is also halting the sale of American Chinese goods to 15 American companies. Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau imposed a 25% tariff on $30 billion worth of U.S. goods. He says that Trump's actions can only hurt Americans.
Americans will lose jobs. Americans will be paying more for groceries, for gas, for cars, for homes, because we have always done best when we work together.
The Trump tariffs, which went into effect at midnight, add a 25% fee to all Canadian and Mexican goods crossing into the U.S. The president had earlier imposed a 10% tariffs on Chinese goods, and yesterday doubled that to 20%. Mexican President Claudia Sheinbaum says she will announce tariffs targeting the U.S. on Sunday.
And Ukrainian President Vladimir Zelensky is today offering a new course of action to bring an end to the war with Russia. This new peace plan comes after President Trump yesterday paused all U.S. military aid to Ukraine. That was seen as fallout from last week's headline-making shouting match at the White House. In a statement posted on X earlier today, Zelensky said that the meeting did not go as planned and described it as, quote, regrettable. Vice President J.D. Vance says Ukraine has to understand it is dealing with a new American administration.
So it's important that everybody come to the table, and the president is trying to send a very explicit message. The Ukrainians have got to come to the table and start negotiating with President Trump.
In the same X statement today, Zelensky says Ukraine is ready to come to the negotiating table ASAP. He also says he and his team, quote, stand ready to work under President Trump's strong leadership to get a peace that lasts, end quote.
Thousands of Los Angeles County residents who lost their homes in the devastating January wildfires had to scramble to find temporary housing. Their search has been made even more difficult by the skyrocketing rental prices. According to Routers and LA List, rental prices jumped as much as 29% after the Palisades and Eden fires. One Bel Air home went from almost $15,000 to nearly $20,000 per month. The advocacy group Rent Bridge Aid said it isn't just higher income families that are being impacted.
We're actually seeing a greater increase among those lower market rent units. That's something we're really concerned about, is this equity issue. Rent gouging is not only affecting affluent areas, this is starting to affect the rental market across Los Angeles.
Under California law, it is illegal to increase rentals by more than 10% during a declared emergency and can lead to fines. While only 6 offenders have been prosecuted, the Rent Bridge Aid hopes more are held accountable. To report rent gouging, go to rentbridgeaid.org.
Many Southern Californians are facing uncertainty and experiencing trauma as they try to come back from the devastating January wildfires in LA County. Those fires had some people running for their lives, and that brought back hard memories for Tom Jones, an Orange County veteran. I recently had the chance to talk to him, and he recalled how he suffered from a terrible fire-related injury some 40 years ago while deployed in the Philippines.
I went to the burn pit. I threw the contents in. I had accelerant, which is basically gasoline. I poured it on the burn pit, and the burn pit exploded. As the burn pit exploded, I got thrown backwards. The accelerant got on me. I caught on fire. I put myself out. I went to the hospital in the jungle.
Tom Jones' story is one of resilience and inspiration. He came back from that devastating injury to become a super athlete, running several cross-country marathons. Now, he's written a book called Becoming Quit-Proof and wants to help others experiencing life-changing trauma.
I just had an epiphany. I was like, I know, I'll run a long way and I'll run a long distance every single day.
And he did. Tom ran a marathon, or 26.2 miles, every day, all while visiting youth homes along the way.
The more people that we can figure out how to help, the more blessed and successful we will be.
Turning his personal tragedy into a bigger cause, in the year 2000, Tom decided to run across North America, from Huntington Beach here in OC to New York, to raise money for a new playground for a children's group home.
Every time I did that, I got recharged with, yes, this is worth it. Yes, I'm making a difference in people's lives and young people's lives that were just like me.
Tom believes what he has learned about coming back from tragedy can help those who lost everything in the January wildfires.
Visualize what your future looks like. What does a better future look like for you? What are your neighbors saying to you? What are others saying to you? Wow, it's amazing that you could lose everything like that and you became a better, stronger person because of it, right? You've got to redirect and reframe it.
Tom has decided to offer the guide he wrote, Quit Proof, free of charge to any LA County resident who is struggling as they contemplate their future and the next chapter. If you are interested, you can contact him through his website, quitproof.com.
Two popular Southern California theme parks are saying thank you to the heroes who battled the January wildfires. Disneyland here in Orange County is offering firefighters and first responders 2 free one-day park tickets. Universal Studios Hollywood is offering a similar deal, a free one-day general admission ticket and a 50% discount up to 3 other one-day tickets. To qualify, the first responders will have to show ID confirming their employment. The Universal Studios ticket special is available now through the second week of April. Disneyland tickets are valid starting the second week of May until the second week of August. Last summer, Disney parks, including Disneyland here in OC, changed their disability assistance policy. Now they're facing backlash and a lot.
That's right. Our Chapman News reporter, Maddie Fabricant, joins us live from Anaheim with more on the story. Maddie?
3, 2, 1. Thanks, Angela and Xavier. I'm here on Harbor Boulevard across from Disneyland. I recently spoke with attorneys representing a Southern California woman who have filed a class action lawsuit on her behalf. They say that these policies are targeting those they claim to protect.
A class action lawsuit filed by McCoon Law Group on behalf of San Diego resident Tricia Malone accuses Disney of failing to meet requirements of the American with Disabilities Act. In a statement to Chapman News, the firm says, Disney has arbitrarily determined that a wide range of disabilities do not qualify as such under the Disability Access Service Program. Previously, Disney's policy was to allow parkgoers with physical disabilities to receive a time to return to each ride, rather than waiting in long lines. If deemed qualified for this accommodation by Disney Guest Relations, guests would then enter the ride through a shorter queue or through the exit area of the attraction. But last year, Disney changed that policy and now restricts it to only those with developmental disabilities. The lawsuit alleges that Disney is now limiting those with physical disabilities from using this accommodation. Instead, if they find they need to leave a line of people waiting or a ride, they must ask a cast member if they can go back to their place in the queue. I spoke with Stacy Brower of Disney DAS Defenders. This group was started by those opposed to the new policy.
Accommodations exist to make experiences equitable for a reason. And so when that experience isn't equitable, that's when we say, hey, we need some extra help here. Like, we need a little something to make it. These are all accommodations that are meant to make our experience as disabled individuals and chronically ill individuals equitable. it's not a favor, it's not a perk, it is not a reward.
Stacy says that DAS defenders are there for those who have made to feel less than because of their disabilities. Many of the members have harrowing stories.
We had a member, her name is Stacy Hardy, who she was a veteran and was denied, but also just told, well, if you die in line, well, at least you're going to die at your happy place.
The DAS defenders are even working with children gifted trips to Disney by the Make-A-Wish Foundation, which works with critically ill kids and their parents.
But to hear about a Make-A-Wish kid being denied when their parent is trying to pay for an extension, it just makes it so much worse, because this is a kid where they chose Disneyland for that Make-A-Wish. They could have picked anywhere. They could have picked to swim with dolphins or go to space camp. And they chose Disney because of how important it was.
In a statement to the Orange County Register, Disney states, Disney offers a broad range of effective disability accommodations and has worked extensively with experts to ensure that our guests' individual needs are properly matched with the accommodation they require.
We will continue to watch for updates in the lawsuit. To learn more about the DAS defenders, you can visit their website at das-defenders.com. This is Maddie Fabricant reporting live in Anaheim for Chapman News. Back to you in the studio.
Thank you, Maddie, for that update. And still to come on Chapman News, we talked to a parent who is suing some top colleges, including the University of California, over their admissions process.
I'm Caroline Chang. March is coming in like a lion with severe weather warnings and temperature drops across the country. Coming up, we'll take a look at the local and national weather forecast. Stay with us.
What are you doing in there? What's that?
I wouldn't do that. What are you doing? What are you looking for?
Eva Marie smoked 12,000 packs of cigarettes over 15 years. She quit, and now there's a new lung cancer screening that could save her life. You stopped smoking. Now start screening. No matter how much you smoked, early detection could save you. Talk to your doctor or learn more at savedbythescan.org.
I don't remember how it started.
Go to that.
Our back and forth. It always came back.
Dad!
You probably don't remember what you told me,
That was perfect.
but I heard every word.
Huntington Beach City Council member Tony Strickland is claiming victory in the 36th State Senate District special election here in Orange County. There are 4 candidates in the race, and right now Strickland leads with 51.3%. The results will be certified this Thursday, and if Strickland's lead holds, there will be no need for a runoff election next month, since Strickland has more than 50% of the votes. Strickland would serve out the remaining 2 years of Janet Nguyen's term in the state Senate. Nguyen won a seat on the County Board of Supervisors last fall.
College enrollment rates across the U.S. are declining, and universities, including Chapman, are feeling the impact. Reporter Prinny Martinez has the story.
With college costs rising and career paths evolving, more students are considering options beyond traditional higher education. Experts say this trend may be linked to lower birth rates and a shifting attitude toward a 4-year degree. At Chapman University, admissions counselors say they are working to understand and adapt.
we're just facing such a foundational shift in how admissions even works. So we're all adapting to our tactics, our processes, the changing student profile.
Increasing tuition costs are another factor cited for the drop in application enrollment. Some high school students are choosing alternative paths, opting for trade schools, certifications, or immediate entry into the workforce. But if there are fewer college graduates overall in the future, what impact could that have on the American workforce and society?
The lack of college-educated individuals means a lack of mobility, which is important in American society. And then also related to that, just the lack of people available for certain kind of jobs. So, and then people who are college-educated tend to be involved more civically in society. A more educated population, leads to a better functioning democracy.
Many colleges rely on tuition dollars for their operating budget, so a decline in enrollment is also bad news financially. One thing is clear. The future of higher education is changing. This is Prinny Martinez reporting for Chapman News.
In Santa Ana, nearly 300 teachers will be laid off at the end of the school year. According to the Santa Ana School District, layoff notices could go out as early as next week because of a drop in student enrollment and a $187 million budget shortfall. The Orange County Employees Association says the school district is laying off teachers but not administrative positions. They urged the district to cut jobs based on attrition. They said, quote, "This fight is about equity, justice, and the future of our schools. Educators deserve better. Students deserve stability." The Santa Ana Unified Board District did not respond to our request for comment.
A group of parents and students are suing the University of California and other public university systems alleging racial discrimination in admissions. The group SWORD, which stands for Students Who Oppose Racial Discrimination, was started by Nan Zhang. Zhang's son, Stanley, had an outstanding academic high school record, yet he was rejected by 16 colleges, including 5 UCs. Stanley is now 19, does not have a college degree, but works as a software engineer at Google. Zhang says Asian American students are being unfairly discriminated against, and he says the universities have not been transparent about their policies.
They're just trying to blow us off, just trying to get rid of this conversation as quickly as possible. And that made the situation even worse because we felt like, hey, if they did something wrong, by not acknowledging it, by pretending nothing happened, that's a wrong even worse than the original one.
Chapman News reached out to UC, which called SWORD's lawsuit meritless. In a statement, UC said, quote, "The UC undergraduate admissions application collects students' race and ethnicity for statistical purposes only. This information is not shared with application reviewers and is not used for admission." Experts say that this is the worst flu season the nation has seen since 2017. Health officials say that there are 2 prominent strains of influenza A that are being spreaded, H1N1, PDM, and H3N2. However, these viruses are not new. Dr. Chris Zimmerman from the Orange County Healthcare Agency discussed the severity of this year's flu season.
It is high and higher than we've seen in the last few seasons. And I know CDC puts out a weekly assessment of the severity of flu. And I think there was some media coverage about a statement that, it appeared to be above the levels we saw. The last bad flu season we had was really 2017, 2018, and that we appear to be at that level.
There are some preventative measures you can take to help keep your friends and family safe from the flu. The first is to get the influenza vaccine. It's not too late, even if you've already had the flu. Next, wash your hands for at least 30 seconds with soap and warm water. Any precautions such as wearing masks and sanitizing surfaces are also a good idea. Speaking of the flu and staying healthy, it may be also a good idea to bundle up this week.
That's right, Xavier. And here to tell us more, let's check in with our weather anchor, Caroline Chang. What do you got for us, Caro?
Thank you, Xavier and Angela. In the famous words of our EP Wong, it is brick out. I had to layer up today. I was heading into the studio, and that definitely shows true with our current weather conditions here in Orange, showing a 68 degrees, which for Southern California is quite chilly. But we're going to hop straight into our national weather forecast. Now, the reason for that is because we're going to be seeing some powerful storms sweeping across the U.S. from west coast to east coast, bringing a dangerous mix of tornadoes, flooding, heavy snows, and high winds. This map shows the progression of this week from Fox Weather, but let's dive into those temperatures. Starting here on the west coast, here in Seattle, we're getting a little bit of that rain. That's going to trickle down here to Southern California, but not just yet, maybe later in the week. Moving here to the middle of America, this is where the heaviest parts of the storm are. Millions of people in the places in the southwest are preparing for the worst weather. Here in Texas, Oklahoma, and Arkansas, they're getting tornado warnings and watches. Now, probably the biggest story is going to be down here in New Orleans. Mardi Gras was canceled today. The biggest event for that Fat Tuesday happening today was unfortunately canceled because they had 60-mile-per-hour winds, and that was extremely dangerous, so that's why they had to cancel those. Now, let's move over here to the East Coast. Now, those storms are not quite pushing over here just yet, but we'll see that happen about later into this week. Let's take a look over here in South Carolina. The Carolinas have unfortunately been in a state of emergency right now. People are fleeing their homes because there is a huge fire happening here. Myrtle Beach is that center point, and this storm will hopefully help resolve those conditions a little bit more. But we're going to shift gears and move into our local weather forecast. Take a look here. A lot of colder weather, exactly as we are seeing those 60 degrees. It's going to be cold, 68 up here in Orange. And finally, let's go into our 5-day Fenestra forecast. And once again, as you can see, today is going to be that last day of sun, but then the rain's going to come in Wednesday and Thursday. But don't worry, Wednesday, it's only going to affect your evening commute, but then it'll dry up here. So what do I recommend? I recommend bringing in a jacket and an umbrella in your car just to stay cool. But that is all I have for you. Stay warm and dry out there for the first time in the studio. I'm Caroline Chang, and this has been the weather.
Thank you, Carol. Lots of good recommendations there. It's Orange County Restaurant Week, serving up special menus at affordable prices. Details coming up right after the break.
Coming up, meet a Chapman University swimmer who's set to compete on the world stage. That story plus much more just ahead in sports.
During high school, I hung with the wrong crowd and I never graduated.
I helped Santiago in many different ways, like all fathers do, because he always wanted to go to college.
I felt a little embarrassed to come back to school, but eventually, once I came here, I knew that it's for a bigger goal.
He was very dedicated, hardworking. He connected with his teachers. He connected with other students. That was one of the key reasons why he was able to keep forging ahead.
It was amazing to see him graduate. This was one thing that meant so much to him, and of course, it meant so much to us too.
With the help of my father and having my son, that was all the motivation that I needed. That support is everything.
Find free adult education classes near you at finishyourdiploma.org.
Jason, let's go see your room.
Here at Chapman University, a special series of speakers will focus on the legacy of Walt Disney. The series is being organized by Chapman Presidential Fellow and Disney historian Jeff Curdy. He says the speakers will examine Disney's impact on entertainment, technology, and global culture. Admission for the speaker series is free and open to the public. Tickets are on a first-come, first-served basis. The next speaker is Jeffrey C. Sherman. That's the son of Disney songwriter Robert B. Sherman. He will appear at 7 p.m. on Friday, March 14th at the Argyros Forum.
Two Dodge College seniors are making waves in a new top short film competition. Aiko Lozar and Lexi Berganio are among the finalists in the Coca-Cola Refreshing Films contest. Their short film about the power of movies to transport us to different worlds has been chosen as a finalist in the competition. There were over 700 entries in the contest. The winning film will be shown during previews in movie theaters worldwide.
It's like this really rare singular opportunity for students to get their work shown like nationwide.
The winners will be announced soon. Be sure to follow @TicketToEverywhere on Instagram for more updates.
Calling all foodies, Orange County Restaurant Week is here, a chance to sample some of the best dishes from the restaurants all over OC. From gourmet dining in Newport Beach to the local eateries in Old Town Orange near the Chapman campus, Restaurant Week is all about variety and highlighting the creative food scene here in Orange County. Participating restaurants are offering special menus this week. For locations and more details, check out ocrestaurantweek.com. And Xavier, there's plenty going on in the world of sports as always this week, from pending trades in the NFL to one of Chapman's very own swimmers advancing to the Deaflympics.
Our sports reporter Yasmine Bari has the latest. Yasmine?
In the world of football, the San Francisco 49ers have agreed to send their all-pro wide receiver, Deebo Samuel, to the Washington Commanders in exchange for a fifth-round pick. Samuel was drafted by the 49ers as a second-round pick in the 2019 NFL Draft. But after struggling through the 2024 season, Samuel requested a trade at the start of the offseason. The Commanders played in the NFC Championship game and could be a legitimate title contender. Samuel has 1 year left on his $71.55 million deal, which has Washington agreed to pick up. The trade will not officially be processed until the new league year. In baseball news, opening day is just 2 weeks away, but already the owner of the Los Angeles Angels is painting a grim picture for the 2025 season. Artie Moreno estimates the team will lose $50 to $60 million minimum. Moreno says payroll has gone up in 2025. The team has had a variety of revenue shortfalls, and they pay $25 million a year to the MLB's revenue sharing system. After expressing interest in some of the year's top free agents, the Angels were never able to agree on a price tag and did not sign any. Moreno even admitted that he was, quote, not interested in spending $200 million on free agency. The Angels have had 9 consecutive losing seasons, the longest active streak in the MLB. A Chapman sophomore swimmer is making huge splashes in the deaf community. Samantha Fuji will be competing in the Deaflympics later this year. Our reporter Assi Hann spoke to her last week to hear about her feat.
The Deaflympics is the largest competition in the world for deaf athletes. Chapman sophomore swimmer Sammy Fuji is one of 12 swimmers representing Team USA this year. She was shocked and excited to make the team.
I really need to go for it, and I made it, which I was shocked.
Sammy, who was born deaf, has been swimming competitively for over 9 years. She competed in the World Deaf Swimming Championship in 2019. In 2022, she competed in the Deaflympics for the first time, where she placed gold in the 4x100 freestyle relay. She appreciated meeting other deaf athletes from around the world.
I get to interact with all these other people from different countries, make more new friends.
She has received praise from friends and family, especially from her coach, Juliet Seuss.
We're so excited for her. Can't wait to cheer her on. We'll probably host some sort of watch party or something for her races while she's there.
While Sammy hopes to improve her times from last year, she is most excited to see her international friends, create new memories, and see the sights of Tokyo.
I had a very fun experience for the last one, so I was like, why not do it again?
This is Assi Hann reporting for Chapman News.
That's all for sports this week. I'm Yasmine Bari, and I'll see you next week.
Coming up on Chapman News, we talk with OC Animal Allies about the importance of spaying and neutering your animals.
Later, what do samurai, Pokemon, aliens, and politicians have in common? They're the topics of pop culture classes offered at Chapman, coming up.
If you love them enough to drive an hour to cheer them on as they get beat 11-0 in the rain,
then surely you'll check nhtsa.gov/the-right-seat to make sure they're correctly buckled in the back seat.
Good afternoon. I'm Natalie Ross.
And I'm Samantha Collins.
Good afternoon and welcome to Chapman News. I'm Steve.
Good afternoon and welcome to this week's edition of Chapman News.
Since 2010, Chapman News has been covering weather, entertainment, sports, politics, and news, broadcasting from Dodge College's Marriott Studios.
As the only live newscast in Orange County, our journalists aim to highlight local, statewide, and national communities.
We're here to provide the most accurate, engaging, and relevant news for our community.
Tune in to our nationally recognized and award-winning newscast, Chapman News.
Watch locally on Channel 6 or on our YouTube to stay updated with the latest.
A construction project happening near the Chapman University campus is incorporating both local history and a touch of nostalgia. A replica of Clark gas station is being built at the corner of Collins Avenue and Glassell Street here in Orange. The original location is now home to Clark Station Flower Shop. Owner Beth Huber is glad to see the replica is going up.
But hopefully I think it's termed the gateway into Old Town, so it is a nice shape of a building and a nice beautiful building for that purpose. So.
The new gas station will be finished by the end of this year and will include some modern touches, including a mural and a coffee shop.
Animal advocates recently marked World Spay Day. Chapman News spoke with Kevin Marlin, the director of Orange County Animal Allies, to learn more.
Is important for a variety of reasons, the first and foremost of which, of course, helps to prevent overpopulation. Even under the best of circumstances, unaltered dogs are obviously capable of reproducing, whether intentional or unintentional. Currently, our shelter system in Orange County is at capacity. Just yesterday, I received a call from Orange County Animal Care asking us to take in dogs, or asking for resources to take in dogs.
OC Animal Allies will be continuing in their effort to spay and neuter pets for all of Orange County area. To learn more, including other programs such as therapy dogs and free pet food, visit the website at ocanimals.org. From Pokemon to aliens and wizards, pop culture is making its way into the classroom here at Chapman University.
That's right. Our feature reporter Courtney Kim joins us in studio to explain more. Courtney?
Thanks, Xavier and Angela. Curious about how pop culture fits in with academics? I had the chance to check out 2 of these classes. Take a look.
Chapman University offers a wide range of courses, but did you know you could study Japan's history through Pokemon or explore the magical world of aliens, wizards, and politicians? From famous franchises to magic, pop culture is finding its place in the classrooms. I spoke with 2 professors who say these courses do more than entertain. They make learning more engaging and relevant.
If you can connect those concepts to something they're passionate about, or they're just they've watched, it's a much better learning experience.
Professor Andrea Mole, who teaches aliens, wizards, and politicians, says students can learn about citizenship and what makes a good citizen by taking the class.
Basically, the fundamental idea is that I think students can learn better if you present them with topics that are more related to them instead of reading from old texts and books. Learning about reality, they probably don't know anything about it. They're not really interested.
But what's a class without students? I spoke to Alina Baker, a student of Mole currently taking this course.
So you kind of get questions like, oh, like, is there a difference between being a good person versus being a good citizen? And like, you also get to know a little bit how like politics of like authoritarianism works and like why it might be attractive to some like people or just like groups in general. So it's really interesting.
Professor Alexander Bay teaches From Samurai to Pokemon, a social history of modern Japan at Chapman University. He says this about how important classes like his are.
As an object of study, it's like super important, both to make sense of a certain time and place, but also as a like a hook to grab the student's attention. And once you got it, then you make them think about like, no, we're not just nerding out over the various evolutions of these different Pokemon characters.
Pop culture isn't just entertainment. It's also an educational tool to understand the world better. This is Courtney Kim reporting for Chapman News. Back to you, Xavier and Angela.
Thank you, Courtney. Those courses definitely look fun and interesting to check out. I'm Angela Hara.
And I'm Xavier Rose. Thanks for watching and stay tuned for more Chapman News this semester.